So, next, level 4,
Okay.
academic, settling in New Zealand.
Okay.
Okay, so a few questions. You're obviously not a Kiwi.
No.
Why did you choose New Zealand?
I actually, when I was a child, I had a teacher who'd spent a lot of time in New Zealand, and I'd heard lots of stories of New Zealand and always wanted to come. I really like the outdoors. I like mountains and the sea and the ocean and rivers and doing outdoor things. I'm at my happiest being outside, and so a place with a low population and lots of wonderful scenery was very attractive.
Okay. Was it difficult adjusting to life in New Zealand? It's a silly question, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, you can enjoy all those things, and yet the reality.
So I've been here
isn't it?
for almost 10 years.
Right.
And I come from a very closely knit extended family, and
so you were escaping.
No, we had a very close family, very close friends, and so I'm from Liverpool in England, and had a lot of people around me who I loved very much, but I also wanted to travel, and so I didn't plan on staying here this long.
Right.
I thought we'd come for a while. My children at the time were 5 and 7, and I thought it was a good time where they could travel and we'd go back home again. I think this is a wonderful place.
But you're all citizens now.
Yeah,
as of last year.
That's right. So
yes.
I think that New Zealand's a beautiful place. I really like the people and yeah, all there is. However, yeah, it's been tough at times. It was hard to it was hard to sort of leave family, and maybe actually it wasn't hard to leave, but it was hard to then be away from key events. New babies in the family, people getting married, people dying, all those things are really hard to deal with. And I think that also it feels like you're starting again. And so people, a lot of them are going to talk about taking a step back. So a lot of people come and they earn less money than they earned before. They take a step back in a career. You know, it's they sort of they have to take a few steps back, which can be frustrating for people.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, because obviously I've had a similar journey. Although I didn't really choose New Zealand, I was already living overseas, so I'd left, Britain many years previously. I was appointed to a position at a school in Auckland, and so that cemented our arrival. But yes, I think you're right. It took a while to, personally, it took a while to adjust, and I think I'm still adjusting. I don't think one fully, what's the word, fully accommodates that whole New Zealand psyche.
I think it depends where you come from, because I think that I think that for me, coming from the United Kingdom, culturally it's very similar in lots of ways, a lot of the time, but there are really important differences as well.
Yes.
And so I think and sometimes it's those subtle differences that so a good example is the rules of the road. Driving in New Zealand is very similar to driving in England, but there's odd rules that aren't the same. So if you presume everything's the same, you can get yourself into trouble. So that's just an example.
It's funny because I mentioned earlier that I've been interviewing a bakery in Dunedin, and the bakery has a deli, and well, I grew up with goose at Christmas, and I miss goose at Christmas, and I have never been able to source a goose. You'd think you would, because there are thousands and millions of geese across the country, but they're not farmed in the quantities that they are back home. Well, would you believe, last week
You've got a goose.
I've now got a goose on order for Christmas.
Fantastic.
I mean, it's but it is those very little things, because you can look at online, British newspapers, or you see the BBC, and there's a story, and it kind of takes you back to when you were there, and it jogs your memory about things, and you think, well, gosh, I miss that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not all the time. Usually it's just momentary, or just something stupid like goose.
Well, that's right. And so there's, and I suspect, though, having been here 10 years, and I don't know whether you'd feel the same way, Mark, but if I went back to live in England now, there'd be lots of things I really enjoyed, but there'd be other things, there'd be other moments where I'd really miss being here.
Yes.
And now, after 10 years, the people who we're friends with here, we've got close friends who feel almost like family now, and I would really miss them.
Yes.
So that's the sense. My children, my daughter said to me once, the difficult thing about moving to the other side of the world is you end up in a position where there's people you love in both places, and so you've always got that division. New Zealand's a fabulous place. It's such. I think that it's been a fabulous place for my children to spend.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I mean, it's
it particularly I mean, because we're a family that likes the outdoors. It's been really good.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I think we're very blessed with having access to all of that nature.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. I recall at prep school in England. It's about 6 or 7 years old, and it was in a rural area. And I remember looking. I used to sort of sometimes bored during a lesson and look out the windows, and there's these beautiful pastoral scenes. But for most of the kids in my class, they were oblivious to all of that nature,
Yeah.
And I think to an extent, a lot of us are here. We get tied up with our work and carried away, and we can't really see that beauty out there.
Yeah. And that's I think the other reality is that it doesn't take long for you to be so busy with work that it's like you could be anywhere.
Yeah.
You could be anywhere in the world because you're busy working. And I think that for me, it's coming to New Zealand is there's no point in me living like I would live in England, and because I may as well be there with my family, my extended family. And so it's about choosing to. There's moments where we're in the mountains, and I think this is why we're here. This is why we're in New Zealand.
It's very Scandinavian psyche. I'm not going to say any more. I was thinking, Soren Kierkegaard. But anyway, no, that's. Thank you very much for your time, David. I know you're very busy and you've got other stuff to be getting on with. And on behalf of Dynasty, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good.
Before you turn off,
yes.
There's just something I think you might want to edit into the first part.
Yes.
I'll leave it to you. So we're just.
Yes.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, surely.
So I was thinking that, that I think for international students that I've worked with, I think one of the rules around writing, which I think has reassured people, has been about keeping things simple. Really great writing or great writers are able to communicate really complex ideas in a very simple way, which is easily understood. I think a mistake sometimes that us lesser mortals make is to try to communicate a simple concept in a really complicated way.
Yes.
And people sort of adopt something which they think is like an academic style of writing,
Yeah.
which is actually isn't. And so what I would say to people, I'd encourage people to write in a straightforward and simple way, rather than to overly complicate things until they're ready to use more complicated ideas.
Yeah.
But certainly, when I read things where people use words that are complicated words, and I can see the writer doesn't understand what those words mean, I would much rather see something written in really simple prose.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, having gone through several years of dissertation writing, etc., I could never master that academic writing. It's not me. Firstly, I'm not an academic, and secondly, I'm not an academic writer.
Yeah.
I struggled.
But I think that I really enjoy reading clear, beautiful writing, and simple writing is often that. There's a book by that I'm really enjoying at the moment. Have you seen this book?
I have, yes. It was well reviewed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Helen Sword.
Yeah, I don't know Helen, so
The
it's
Writer's
not.
Diet.
But
Yes.
I'm just enjoying that at the moment,
Yes.
looking at, and I think for people who have got a high standard of English writing
Yes.
already, I think
Yes.
it's quite useful to actually get a better understanding of what good writing might look like.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, I recommend
The
it to
Writer's
my
Diet.
students.
Helen Sword.
Yeah.
We'll get that from the library.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, great. Thanks,
No,
Mark.
that's lovely. Thank you so much for your time, David.